Here we go again. All right, let me just move my keyboard out of the way here. Okay, so we are back again with the ridiculous hair here, quarantine hair. All right, so we are back. Today's game is going to be another, obviously it's a game by Gray Fox, but it is War of the Worlds: The New Wave. This is a two-player deck building game. One player would play the aliens, the other player would play the humans. Aliens are trying to destroy all of the humans on the board, and the humans have to deal a certain amount of damage to the aliens to force them to flee and go away. So, since we're playing this solo, the aliens will be controlled by a little AI that's controlled here basically by this dice. This variant was created by BGG user Dr. Henry Armitage. That's there at the top. You can go to BGG, go to the War of the Worlds, the New Wave page, and then right there, if you scroll down in the forum section, it'll have the solo variant that he created. This is slightly different. His uses a 2-dice system to help vary things. As with all the things that I do, I simplify everything as much as humanly possible. So, the way that I simplified this is that I just made it 1 dice. So, the 2-dice system in his version is 1 dice determines like a main action, and then the second dice determines a sub-action. All I did was just put everything onto 1 dice to make it nice and simple. It streamlines it also in a way that makes it a little bit more difficult, because there's always going to be something that's guaranteed to happen every turn, because I like to do a little bit of solo stuff. So this is pretty cool. So yeah, go to BGG, check out his variant. You can play this pretty much the exact same way, however you'd like. And yeah, so that's that. If you don't, like I said, this is a deck building game. If you don't know what that is, basically you just have a starting deck of cards, and then you will get more cards throughout the game. Like, these are the cards that I can buy. There's basically money that I get from the cards that I play sometimes, and I can use those to buy new cards that go into my deck, and then those cards I can use to fight against the aliens. In this game, I'll be building new types of units. Like, I can build tanks, I can build ships, and special types of buildings to help me fight the aliens. The aliens also have some buildings and also have some more ships. They already start with a UFO. It's kind of hard to see, but this is a little UFO mini and a walker, I believe is they call it, or a tripod, that's what they call it. And they're going to use that to pretty much try and decimate me. So it's pretty straightforward. All I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this dice for the alien's turn, and then based on what I roll, it'll determine what the alien does. And then a small little section here about some reminder rules. But yeah, that's it. I'll take my turn, and then I'll roll the dice, see what the alien does, and then I'll go back to my turn. And we'll just keep going back and forth until either they go away or we're all dead. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Another real quick before I jump into it, just want to let everybody know once again, other link there at the top, teespring.com/store/GrayFoxGames. That's our new merch store. We already have a few items on there, and we're putting new items up all the time. So if you want to take a look at that, get some cool merch to help support us. You can get some cool Champions of Midgard and Bushido stuff at the moment, and we'll be adding more merchandise for all of our games going forward. And also, we're still on the last leg of our Kickstarter campaign for forScience. So if you go look that up on a Kickstarter, it's just a forScience cooperative real-time dexterity game, and it's the last few days on that. So you can check that out. Doing a lot of cool things with the campaign I'll get into a little bit later. So, all right, there's my start of stream speech that I always have. So let's just go ahead and try and kill all of the aliens. All right. So if you are unfamiliar with how this particular deck builder works, I'll kind of just go through it as I play. I'll explain things. But 5-card hand. You have to play every card in your hand. If for some reason the card that you need to play doesn't do anything, like it can't do anything, you just discard it. Otherwise, you play everything. Or you can also choose not to. But yeah, so 5 cards in your hand, this is what you have for resources for the turn. And then you, like as the humans, I'm going to be moving humans around, using them to attack the aliens, building new units, blah, 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 blah. It's more tactical than your average deck builder, which is pretty cool. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I got some cards I can buy. Yes. Okay, so these cards give me money, and I use money to buy more cards. So I'll play these 3. They'll each give me 1 money each, so I'll go ahead and I'll buy this card, and any time that I buy or acquire a card, it's going to go straight to my discard pile, and then when I need to draw from my deck and I can't, it'll get reshuffled, that'll become my deck, and then I can use the things that I bought. So I'm going to do that. Now I got these 2 cards left here, and these both will have my units deal damage, like my humans here on the map. These little guys here, kind of hard to see, but they're here on the map. So those are going to not be useful because they have to be in the same space as an enemy unit, which they are currently not. So these cards don't do anything. They just get discarded. That's the end of my turn. Refill my hand to 5, which is the rest of my deck. Now, alien turn, pretty straightforward. Like I said, we're just going to roll this dice and we'll see what happens. I rolled a 1. 1 is we're going to move and deal 1 damage with 1 enemy unit. Tripods always move 1 space. UFOs can move up to 2 if they need to, and the movement rules for the AI is that they will always move towards the most populated space. If there is a tie for it, you would just need to make a decision for the AI that's in the AI's best interest. Like, imagine yourself as the alien player, and what would you do that would be the best decision? You always need to act for the AI in whatever is their best interest to make it more difficult for yourself. So in this case, I'm going to take this tripod, and we're just going to hop over here. That's surrounded by units of all the same types, or the same number of population on all of them, so they're just going to move over to that one there real fast. Alright, so they're going to move and deal 1 damage, and when they deal damage, if there's a building there, they'll deal damage to the building first, and if they don't have a building, then just go straight to the units. The base damage of all the units is generally just 1 anyways, but it's just 1 damage. There are some buildings that will pump the damage of the tripods and other things like that, so if those ever come into play, then it's the 1 damage plus whatever the modifier is. Alright, so that's the first turn of the AI. Now, in the normal game, the way that the game ends is either the humans deal the 30 damage to push the aliens back, or the aliens get rid of all the humans, which is still there, but there's a extra loss condition for the player, which is this alien deck here. So on a 5 and a 6, we'll play the top card of the deck and remove it from the game. If this deck ever runs out, then that will also end the game and consider it a loss. So something to keep in mind. Alright, so back to my turn here. I've got some more money. Oh, there's just all kinds of things over here. So I'll do the same thing, actually. That'll give me 3 money. I'm going to buy another Evacuate. The reason I'm buying these Evacuates is because I can play them to move things, but they can also provide me with extra currency. So that extra money will help me acquire more cards down the road, because in this game, a lot of these cards, and I can't play these cards, so I'm going to discard them. And now my deck is out, so I have to reshuffle everything. That'll become my new deck. So everything that I purchased, I now have access to. But in this game, a lot of these cards have a secondary action or extra actions that will give you a more powerful effect, but it will come at the cost of you burning the card and removing it from the game. If you do that too quickly with the cards that give you money, you may lose your opportunities to buy more cards because you'll have gotten rid of all the cards that give you money. So I like to buy cards that provide me with ways to keep getting cards, and then yeah, everybody's happy. So there's that. So yeah, you just want to, especially as the human player, you can burn out really quickly, so you want to pace yourself, whether it's a solo game or if you're playing the 2-player game. Also a note on this, this is for the expansion. This is our playmat that we made for the game. Normally it's just 1 game board and the 2nd game board for the expansion, but I'm playing with the Kickstarter Deluxe Edition of the game, as well as on the playmat that we make for it, which is all available on our website, greyfoxgames.com. But just so you know, that's why this is covering this up. Since I'm not using this, I'm going to put all of the stuff here that I need. Normally it would be off to the side. So there's that. Alright, so we need 5 cards here. There's that. Cool beans. Alright, aliens. They are going to... That's a 3, so 2 units are going to move and deal a damage. So this tripod's going to deal a damage first. So like I said, we have to make a decision for the aliens in whatever would be in their best interest. So since they're moving and dealing damage, I'm going to say that they'll deal damage and then move if they can, and if they can't deal damage first, then they'll move and then deal damage. So they'll do that, and then this guy's going to hop down here. This UFO is going to go up here, and then they're going to eat one of these guys. Alright, and now we are back to my turn. Alright, so now I can actually use these things. So I'm going to use both of these gorillas. I'm going to use a secondary action. So I can play these to do a point of damage with a unit if it hasn't already dealt damage this turn. But I can destroy the card to do 2 points of damage with it. So since there's 3 units there, I'm going to choose Yeah, I'm going to choose both of those. So I'm just going to burn both of these for a total of 4 damage. And we're going to move that up. This is a little track here. Normally this is a little dark blue piece, but I swapped it out with a brighter color so it's easier for you to track. So we're going to do some damage to those guys there. And we are now at 4 points of the 30 I need to win. So, all right, and then I have these cards here. These are the ones that I can either move units or I can use them for money. So, all right, so this is good. So I'm actually going to burn all 3 of these for a total of 6 money. And then I'm going to use that to buy the Royal Navy. So this card's going to allow me to start using ships. Now, it shows you the type of card here in the corner. This is a unit, and whenever you buy a unit card, you automatically get to put one of those units on the board. So we have these fancy little ship miniatures here. So I can put this in the regions next to, like, basically any of the oceans, and then it will add damage. It'll let me use that on whatever land it is adjacent to in that region. So since those are both up there, but I think they're going to be moving, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to plop this guy right here, so that way he's got access to all of these things, because I think they're going to move down pretty quickly, because it also hits here, so that's a good place for it. Now, this also still has actions on it, so once I get it into my hand and I can play it, it has a few different things that I can do with it. So, yeah, so that'll go to my discard pile. I burned all the cards that I played that turn, so there's nothing else going in my discard pile. So that's going to end my turn. I need 5 cards. And then we go back to the alien's turn. And dice roll. It's a 1, so one unit's going to move and then deal damage. I'm going to have the tripod move here, and it's going to eat this last little guy I have up here. Alright. Now, the moving every time that it does damage may seem a little strange, but part of the reason for that is because it moves around so much. Whenever I get these more powerful units on the board, it'll actually make it harder for me to hit them because I have to be in the same space as them to do it. So them jumping around and eliminating stuff is actually quite frustrating a little bit later in the game once I get more units on the board. Alright, back to me. Saving things here. Okay, so we've got some money. I can get up to 8, actually. Ooh. Oh, I need another card down here. Alright, I need to get some damage here, I think. So, I'm not going to burn that. So that's a total of 3 money I'm going to use. I'm going to actually use that for 1 more evacuate. And then I'm going to use... Ooh, that's good. I'm going to burn both of these for 4, and then I'm going to buy this army that just came out because the army gives me the tank, and the tank is going to allow me to start messing these guys up. Now, any of these units that I deploy, same thing with if I ever build one of these buildings, it has to go to a spot where there's not aliens, and there can only be 1 building per space. So I'm going to put this tank right here because I have a feeling these guys are going to come right down through here. All right. And then my last one here is the gorillas. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to burn this for another 2 damage on one of my units. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so I need cards, so there's 2, and then I need 3 more. Now my deck is a lot smaller because I burned a ton of cards out of it. But I thought ahead, and a lot of the cards that I purchased provide me with money. So now... Actually, did I? 1, 2, 3. No, I still have 1. I don't want to burn this, so I'll go down 1, and I'm actually going to leave this in my deck because if I get rid of that, I don't have another way of having my little guys do damage yet, so I'm going to keep that in my deck until I have a way to replace that. So, like I said, if you burn all your resources too quickly, you're going to find yourself in a real pickle. So, alright. So let's see what the aliens do. The aliens are going to, both the units that they have are going to move and deal damage. So they're going to move here. Now, also in the fancy rule book here, I like to always double check just to make sure. Now your units have health, and your tanks and your ships can get destroyed actually. So the way that you want to keep track of that is I always double check the rule book just to make sure, especially in these solo variants, because sometimes these rules can be modified in some way, but I always try and be educational, so I'm going to show you exactly what that is. Yep, doing damage to defensive buildings, human forces, defense civilian tokens. Yep, that's what I thought. So, unless you have anything that modifies it, basically all of your units as humans, whether it's tanks, ships, or anything else, has 1 health. So, this tank is going to get destroyed by the tripod, because the alien player is pretty much going to always want to try and get these off the field first. So, we'll get rid of that. But, because we have the card in our deck, we'll build more later. So, they're going to do that. And then, since they're still in an area that's like tied for population here, this is one of those kind of play it by ear kind of rules. So we're just going to say that they're actually going to sit there, and they're not going to move yet. Because moving here would put them in range of this, and then also there's no reason for them to move because this still has the same amount of population as this. And then the UFO up here is going to eat one of my dudes. And then same thing with that. They're going to sit there and they're going to keep eliminating them. Like I said, it's a little loose, but you want to operate the AI in a way that is in the best interest for them and basically how you would play it in that position. All right. Okay. And yeah, so back to my turn. Nice. Okay. So we've got... I don't want to use the Navy ship because I want to leave it here, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Now, once it's destroyed, if I remember correctly, once it's destroyed, Yep. That's right. Yeah, so right there in the rule book. Just double checking. I always double check. So once it's destroyed, if you play the card again, I don't get to do any of these actions because I don't have a tank on the board, but it lets me just put a tank on the board wherever I can. So we're going to put the tank here, and that's going to be the action for that card. It's gorillas. These are going to do a point of damage, so we're going to go up to 6. And then I can get 3 here, or I can go to 4, which I think I'm going to go ahead and do. So I'm going to evacuate and burn that for another 2. I'm going to get the supply depot. This is a building. Buildings, when you buy them, the card just gets removed from the game, but you get the building that it states here. So that is one of these buildings. And so I get to put this somewhere on the board, and this just says I get an extra money every turn automatically. So I'm going to put that all the way down here as far away from the aliens as I possibly can, so that I don't want them to destroy it. And yeah, that's going to be my turn. So there's 3, and then we need 2 of these. Okay, so there's the 5 cards I need here. We're back to the aliens. Let's see what the aliens do. Aliens deal 1 damage and move with both units. So a UFO is going to eat this guy, and then they can move 2 spaces, so they're going to move right here, and then this guy is going to do a point of damage here, and then he's going to move down to a more populated area. And then we'll go back to my turn. Just nice back and forth, easy. Really simple. Best kind of solo game. Best kind of games really is just anything that has a good thought process, a lot of depth to it, but it's very simple to play. That's the key. All right, so I've got 4 here, so I'm going to use both of those to buy another evacuate, so I can keep my try and keep my currency going pretty well. Gorillas do another point of damage here, and then I've got the Navy unit. So because this is finally in range of this, it's going to deal 2 damage there. So 1, 2. And then I've got my army unit, which is my tank. And the tank is going to do 2 damage to that as well. So now we're at 11 damage on him. So we're doing good. We're doing good. Okay, and that's my turn. So need to make sure you always have 5 cards here. Nice thing about the playmat is it actually has little spaces dedicated for the cards in your row, so it's really nice. Alright, so I need 3 cards. So there's 3. This is different version from BGG. Yes, Tom, this is a little bit different. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, I modified this very slightly. Basically, I just simplified it down to a 1-dice system instead of 2. But that's basically the only change that happened, and that's all that I did. And I try and simplify it for the streams just because it makes it a lot easier. Like, the less fiddly it has to be for me personally, the more smooth it's going to be for me to play because I'm doing everything by myself. But yeah, this is, if you go to the BGG post, like I said at the top there, it says inspired by the variant created by Dr. Henry Armitage. But you can get that variant from BGG, and then, like I said, they're largely the same thing, except mine just uses 1 dice instead of 2. So, okay. All right. So here I've got 6. So also once per turn you can tuck a card. I need something that gives me money. You can tuck a card and then you can put it out here. Ooh, that's what we're looking for. Oh, I do have an extra money because of this. Nice. Okay. So we're actually going to go ahead and utilize that. So that's a total of 7. I can buy the airstrike now, and that's just a damage anywhere, which is really nice. So we're going to get more of those. So let's see here. Guerrilla tactics, so that's going to do another point of damage. We're up to 12, and then the army tank. Oh wait, I never actually finished doing the damage here. I just realized that. Sorry. They would have attacked this thing. They would have attacked this thing. Cool. And then my turn would have played out the same way, except instead of doing the tank here, I would have spawned the tank, and I would have had to spawn the tank down here. That's all. Okay. We fixed it. Not a problem. So there's 3. So there's that. All right, that should be a total of, oh, a little bit much there. 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. All right, aliens 5. Ooh, we're playing a card here. All right, nerve agent. It does a point of damage in a land region containing a tripod, so that's going to eat this guy. And it's going to put this token over here. It says nerve agent on the back, but it's got this little stop sign symbol, so we'll put that there. And as long as that is there, I cannot move any of my units into or out of that spot for the next round, basically. So they're stuck there. All right. So that was the nerve agent. And now we're back to my turn. So here's the Royal Navy. The ship will fire, deal 2 damage to that unit there. Important note about the alien units is that they never get destroyed. They just always absorb damage. So that's a thing to consider. Here's guerrilla tactics again. So there's another point of damage there. And then I've got evacuates. So I can move some things around here if I wanted. Or I can get... Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use that 6. We're going to buy a fort. And this fort is going to be this building right here. So I'm going to put this building somewhere. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to try and hole up right here and try and keep them as much as possible. It's a building, so it gets removed from the game. But it provides an extra 4 defense, and it gives me an automatic point of damage in that spot. So the 4 defense is important because it means that the aliens are going to have to deal 4 damage in a turn in order to destroy the fort. Now, another modification that I'm going to do is anytime with that, because it's a little difficult for them to get to 4 without playing a card, I'm going to actually say that for this solo variant, I'm going to track the damage on buildings like this that can absorb more than 1 point of damage. And they basically will have a health. This isn't something you normally do in the game, but otherwise they'll never be able to destroy this, and then it'll just kind of like ruin the flow of the game. So I'm going to track the damage on there. So when they take damage, I'm going to use this red dice, and I'm going to track how much damage it takes, and once it gets to 4, it'll be destroyed. That's the only fair way to do it against the AI. 2, 3, 4... and 5. Alright, back to the AI's turn. 2, move and deal a damage with 1, so we're going to deal a damage up here. And then the UFO can actually go in water, so we're going to say they're going to move into the water because they're going to want to attack my Navy ship, because that's what I would do. So, alright. So we're back to here. Airstrike, so that's just a point of damage by its own. So we're at 16 now, we're just over halfway. The Navy unit's going to shoot the UFO for 2. The guerrillas are going to do another point. Oh, yeah, this nerve agent's gone. Another point here. And then I've got these. I don't want to move the tank, so that's going to stay there. And then I can move civilian tokens. So I'll go ahead and I'll do that. I'm going to pop these civilian tokens down here, and I'm going to kind of force him into that square with me. Alright, so here's 4, and then here is 5. Alright. That's a 1 there, boss, so they're going to move and deal a point of damage. UFO is going to shoot the Navy ship because it's causing problems. And then it's going to move, and they're going to get into this space, and they're just going to try and start converging on my little hole here that I've created. Alright, back to me. Ooh, I gotta love you guys. So here's my Royal Navy ship, so I can redeploy it, but I can't deploy it to the same area as the UFO isn't in the water anymore. It moved onto the land, so I can move it here. But if the UFO would have stayed in the water, then I wouldn't have been able to deploy here. So that'll go there. Guerrilla tactics, that's another point. And then I've got 3 evacuates. Yeah, I'm going to use all of these just to move 6 units instead of buying something, because I'm going to take all of these units here. I'm going to move all my guys into this space. I'm just going to make this like a last stand kind of thing here. So we're going to see how it goes. AI, what you going to do? 4, that's going to... They're both going to move and do damage, so... So he'll move, so they're both going to do a point of damage, so they're going to have to damage the fort first. Also, that fort was there, so I have another point of damage because it always gives me a damage. Okay, and we're back to my turn. So this is going to be a total of... I'm going to go ahead and burn both of these. So that'll be 4 damage, that'll be 5 damage, and then that's 2, so that'll be 7 damage total. So it'll put me at 28. So we're almost there. Oh, plus the one that's there, which is 29. So actually, if I burn this card, it gives me an extra point of damage. So I'm going to do that, and then that'll give me the 1 point of damage I need, and that'll be the 30 points of damage, and that 30 points of damage will fight the aliens off, and I will win the first game. So it is not as difficult, what it may seem. So... Not so bad. So we're gonna reset. I'm gonna modify a couple of things here because this is what you do with fun unofficial solo variants. I'm going to instead. So we're gonna say that because right now I just have playing the cards on the 5 and 6. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to say that. Just 6 is playing the top card, but I'm also going to move, because there's a total of, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 cards here. So if I set it to where it plays 1 card per turn, that seems like a lot, because some of these are really powerful. So I'm just going to say that... I'm going to move the 5 here to the middle. So I'm going to say 3, 4, and 5. 2 units move and deal damage, and we play a card. And then if I do a 6, the 6 is just going to play the top card of the alien deck. So that way, it's a higher chance. Well, it doesn't actually do it. Yeah. So what it's going to do is it's going to say, It's actually tough because I want it to play more. I want it to play more cards because I feel like that's. I didn't feel any pressure from the alien cards there, and it's one of the end game triggers. So. So I'll just say it on this. I'll just say that's looking good. Oh, thanks, Dad. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna modify this a little bit, and what I'm gonna say is that if I roll and I do the same action twice, if I roll a 1 or a 2, like back-to-back turns, then I will also play a card from the deck. So that way it's kind of speeding the game up and putting more pressure on me. And we'll see how that goes. Like it's still variability. Like there's still a world where that just never happens, but we're trying to make it to where, because I think that if I just set it to where it always plays a card every turn, it's not going to be beatable, and like that's not the fun thing to do here. So we're just going to say that. So if I roll and do the same action twice in a row on the alien things, then the aliens will play a card from their deck. So while I'm resetting for this, how about we hear from y'all? What's going on? How is everything going in your part of the world? Is everybody doing their best to enjoy themselves? You know, like what's the deal? What's happening? Are you playing games? Are you doing anything artistically or creatively? Are you talking to your friends? I'm hoping everyone is. So, this is the best time to build some communication skills if you are not good with them, because it's all we have. And if you're watching and you've never played this game and it looks enjoyable to you, like I said, you can get it from our website, greyfoxgames.com. So we sell a lot of exclusives on the site that you can't get anywhere else, and that is, so one of the things is this playmat I'm playing on. We make this. You can only get it from us, so you can get it from the website on there, or the playmat. It includes everything for the expansion as well as specific slots for the decks for the player cards and everything, which is really nice. We also have the Kickstarter edition of the game here, so it comes with these cool miniatures instead of the cardboard standees that normally come with it. It comes with extra promo cards exclusive to the box. Comes with additional, it comes with the expansion in the box as well as additional promo cards in the box for the Kickstarter edition there. So all kinds of cool stuff you can get from there, as well as the rest of the stuff that we offer. Like we usually have goodies for almost all of our games as far as additional promo packs or upgraded pieces. So you can get all that on the website and just check it out from there. While you're there, you can also hop on our newsletter, and we send that out every so often, and it keeps you up to date on what we're doing right now as far as what we have going on currently, what we have coming out later on. Like this year, we have some really big games coming out this year. Tsukiyomi Full Moon Down is going to be huge. After the Empire is going to be really large. That's coming out this year. Tortuga 2199, which is actually from this company. And it's a very similar system to what War of the Worlds is. It's also a deck builder, but it's area control, and it's multiplayer. It's not just 2 players, so you can play with up to, I think, 5 people with the expansion. So it's really cool. So yeah, if you're not part of the newsletter, you should definitely sign up for that so you can keep up to date and get, first. You basically will get the first notification for whenever we do something new and cool. So there's that. Okay, so we have our cards there. I have my starting deck. This is here. This is here. We need to put all the dudes back on the board. It's really nice because the board has these little red pips on the squares where all of the population starts. So there's that, and we just got to move everyone around, and that's there. Yes, perfect. Okay, cool. All right, and resetting for this game is a breeze. All right. Now this one can be a little bit harder. Like I think I got really fortunate with the amount of cards that gave me money last game, so I was able to like burn the starter cards and make my deck a lot smaller. So the smaller that your deck is, the more often you'll draw the things that you need to actually be successful. So we'll see. Like from game to game, it could vary. So all right, so there's 5. There's that. And we are on to the game number 2. Alright, so here I've got this. So I'll use these 4. I'll go ahead and I'll buy this supply depot. It's a building, so it's going to get built automatically. I'm going to put it down here like I did the last time, and this is the one that gives me an extra money every turn. So I'm trying to get my economy up faster. Guerrilla Tactics, can't do anything with. Just going to discard it, draw 5 cards to replace it. Onto the AI. 1, move and deal a damage. UFO is going to move to the top, and they're going to deal a damage here. I'm choosing the UFO because in this rule set they have extra movement, so they can move 2 spaces if they need to. So we're going to put them farther away so they can make back the time quicker. All right, and back to me. So I'll use these 2 gorillas. I'll burn 1, and then I'll use the other for regular, so that's a total of 3 damage I'm going to do to that UFO up there. And then this gorilla won't let me do anything here. So we're instead going to take a look at this. Oh, and I've got an extra one here, so that's 3. Sure, I'll use these 2 plus the 1 here, and I'm going to build the bunkers. And the bunkers is another building, and it's just going to give me an extra 2 defense. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put them here in Glasgow, and I'm going to try and do the same thing I did last game with try and kind of give them a little bit of a roadblock trying to come down through here. So we'll just do that. And since I have good unit cards, but I haven't seen a lot of ways of raising my economy. I didn't see another one of these buildings. I don't see any of the cards that gave me money from the last game, so I've got to be very careful when I choose to burn cards for extra money, because if I continue to do that and I lose all the ways of generating extra money for my economy, it will completely fall out, and I will be able to only use the cards that I have in my deck currently for the rest of the game. So that may not be bad if I get good stuff, but generally speaking, I just always like having the option of getting better cards if I need them. So, just a word to the wise if you ever play this game. If you're playing the humans I think are a little bit harder than the aliens to play because you have to manage it more. Do not destroy your economy in the first few turns. You will regret it. I've watched this game played 1,000 times at conventions, and then people always have that like deck building mentality. I've got to make my deck small. I've got to make my deck small. And then they realize, oh, I don't have ways to buy cards anymore. And then it's a travesty. So be really careful. All right, so I have a total of 4. Nice. So that's 3 plus that. So I can actually buy the army, which is the tank. So I can put a tank on the board. I'm going to pop him in that square as well. And then I've got guerrilla units here. Did I do... No, I didn't do the alien turn. Oh, man. So they would both move and do damage. So do damage. He's going to stay there. He's going to move over, do a damage here. That's what they would have done, so no big deal. Guerrilla Tactics, I'm not going to burn them, so 2 points of damage. So we'll go from 3 to 5. So we are 1/6 of the way to the victory. So there's 4. And let's do this here. Ah, there we go. There's one of the cards that gives me money again. So we want to like I said, want to try and build our economy up as best as possible. That's a pretty good rule of thumb for almost any board game that revolves around a currency, is just try and stabilize your economy as early as you can, so that way you consistently have something good throughout the game. Like, you can stabilize later generally, but it will serve you well to pace yourself in almost every situation of a board game, or most things really, but yeah, no rush. But you'll figure out how to make those calls on your own. Okay, so I did those. So we're back to the alien turn. So 5. So we're playing a card. Tripod. So it's going to do the best thing here. It's going to get burned anyway, so we'll go ahead and just say it's going to do 3 damage in the thing that it's in. So it's going to go ahead and eat both of these guys there, and that's that. So we're back to my turn. Luckily, I only had 2 units there, so they did lose a little bit of value. So, I mean, any sort of edge you can keep in this stuff is good. All right. So I've got 1 gorilla unit up there. So I will burn this one to get 2 damage out of it and discard this one. So I still have 2 in my deck out of the 4 that I started with. And then I've got 4 money between these and this if I don't burn any cards, which is good. So I'll go ahead and I'll do that again. So there's another army here. So that'll give me another tank. And we'll put this other tank right here. And we're just, like I said, we're just going to try and blockade a little bit up here. Actually, I'm going to put it down here, and I'm going to try and see if I can move these units down without losing them. And that is the end of my turn. So there's 5, and let's go AI 6. So that's the top card of the alien deck, and since I played a card last time too, I will play an additional card now. Nerve agent in the land region containing a tripod. Now this is another thing I'm going to say, that if it has a card like this where it's not going to have any effect whatsoever, just tuck it to the bottom and play another one. Like I said, you always want the AI to operate at full capacity. Destroy a civilian token in a UFO or move it to adjacent region. Cool. So it's going to eat that dude up there. And we'll play an additional card here. So this would do 2 damage in a region with a UFO, which it doesn't have, so we're going to do this. So I can move a UFO up to 2 regions now. So we're going to move him down here. Alright. So we're back to my turn. That army's not going to do anything there. Guerrilla tactics. So we'll go ahead and do that. Do a point of damage here. So we'll go to 8 damage. And then I've got 4 money again, or I can go higher if I need to. And there's another. Yeah, let's do it. So there's 4. Here's the last army I need. So now I have all 3 of the tanks that are available to me. I'm going to put that here. So I'm in a really good position right now. That's my turn. So let's see what the aliens do. 2, move 1 unit and deal a point of damage. So let's move the tripod down and just deal a point of damage to those guys. So I am barricaded pretty well here, but there's still a world where I just get wiped out here, and it gives them an opportunity to keep moving. Also with the UFO, because it can go over water, the UFO can always just go around and still get to my bottom unit, so I can't stop that without a specific card in the deck that's called, I think it's called the Balloon Brigade, and it stops the UFO from moving through that space. But it is only on land, so it basically will force the UFO to go through water, which is actually pretty huge because the water space is next to all of these. So it could go like, here's a water space, and now it's over here, and now it's just, yep, there we go. Because those robots are tricky, I'll tell you. Okay, and I have all of these things here. So let's get some damage in. So I've got 3 army cards in my hand. I'm going to use this card to move this tank forward into this region, so now it's next to both of those. I'll use the other 2 to make it fire both times for a total of 4 damage, so we'll go to 12. So that was good. Gorillas, I'll go ahead and I'll burn the gorillas here, and we'll do another 2 damage. So that's 14. And then I can relocate civilian tokens if I want, or I can use the 3 money. Ooh, I'll do that. The 2 plus the 3, so I will burn that relocate. Or, yeah, and then we'll put the evacuate there instead. All right. So we traded 1 for 1, which is fine. Okay, so back to the aliens' turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Aliens, what are you going to do for me? 4. They're going to move and deal a damage with both of the units. So the damage, they're going to target the tanks first. And then so we'll say that the tripod damage there, and then it's going to move down here. And then the UFO will damage this. But that UFO is going to stay there to try and eat that guy before it moves. All right. Back to my turn. Ooh, lots of stuff here. So there's guerrilla tactics for another point of damage. And then relocate. So I've got a ton of money. I can get up to 9 if I want. Oh, this is actually really good. So I'll burn 1 of these. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5 plus that. That's a total of 6. So that'll give me my... So now I've got a Navy ship here. And we'll plop that bad boy right there. And now I have a ship. Alright, so let's see what the aliens do. That's a 4, so they're going to do the same thing they did last time, which means they're also going to play a card from the deck. So, damage here, and then we're going to move. They can move 2 spaces if they want, but they're going to move into the ocean, and then they're going to try and take care of this ship here, because the ship is going to cause a lot of problems for them. And then this guy is going to have to do a point there. So like I said, for these buildings, we're going to track the damage on them. So it's got 1 point of damage. If it takes another one, it's going to die. And we're going to play a card here for that. So Poisonous Fog. A point of damage in a land region adjacent to a tripod unit. During the human player's turn, they cannot use the attack abilities of any buildings in that region. Okay, so which one is this? This is Poisonous Fog. So that's this one. Has to be in an adjacent one, so we'll say it's here, and it does a point of damage, so that's going to actually destroy the tank. And if I had a building here that had an attack ability, I wouldn't be able to use it. So, all right. So that's a bummer. And then, yep, so that's the first card for my next hand. And then we're going to need to do these. I need to... Alright, there's another card there to help my economy, so I can burn some other cards to get those in there. So, there's 4 there. Royal Navy ship. 2 damage to the UFO, so we'll go from 15 to 17. And then I've got all my money cards here, actually. So we'll burn this one. Oops, that for 3. We'll replace it with the evacuate. There's another evacuate. So we'll do the same thing. We'll burn 1 plus that for a total of 3. And then I've got 1 or 2 here. So I'll actually use this to use the ability, and we're going to relocate. I'm going to actually move a guy down from here, and I'm going to start pulling some guys towards the bottom of the map just in case. If I need to buy time, then I need to buy time. Okay, back to the alien's turn. 5, so we're going to play the top card of the deck here. Infrasound, 1 damage in a land region containing a tripod unit. Move 1 human army unit from the target region to an adjacent non-hostile region. Okay, so that 1 point of damage is going to kill my bunker. So that's going to go away. And then it's going to move 1 of these over here to this guy. Oh, it says a non-hostile region. So the non-hostile region, whatever. It's going to put it there. Things a little bit simpler for the sake of this. And then, yeah, so here is my hand. We're back to my turn here. Oh, I've got all of my tanks here. So these two are going to spawn my other two tanks, which will spawn here and here. And then this one I'll just use to push this tank forward into... Actually, no, by the rules of the game, it will only put it on the board if I don't have a unit to affect there. So instead, it's going to have to be all three of these. I'm just going to have to move, and then I'm going to fire twice. So that's be another 4 damage. So we'll go to 21. And then I'm going to burn these gorillas here for another 2. So we'll go to 23 damage. And then we're going to use the... evacuate. I have 3 total. So I'll buy the landmines here, and that is going to be one of these tokens over here. Landmines, yes. So, and I'm going to put the landmines right here in the most populated area, and then whenever they move in, then it's going to do 2 damage to the aliens because they're going to explode like mines do. All right. So that is going to be my turn. So I'll need to get my new hand here in a second. But let's see what the aliens do. 5. So we're going to play an additional card too. So this card, Regenerator, that is a building, I believe. Yes. Once per turn, you may spend 4 to lower the alien damage track by 1. So with this building, so we're just going to put that up here with the mothership. That building, we're going to say it operates automatically, and so every turn it will remove a damage. So there's a point. And yep. And now I got to play an additional card for him as well. Poisonous Fog. Adjacent to a tripod unit, so do a point of damage here in this adjacent region here. And then these guys can't use attack abilities this time. I'm already getting more ideas how to make this little solo mode a little bit more difficult, a little more streamlined. I'm thinking that I want to have this building just in play at all times, and they just start the game with it, and then that way every round they remove a damage to try and keep the pressure up. Because even though they are playing more cards and doing everything, I still feel like I'm not being pressured enough by the AI, and this is still fairly easy. Like, this should operate and try to provide the same sort of tension that a 2-player game would. So you just need to give all the aliens as much power. Like, maybe it just starts with all the buildings, like the one that gives extra damage to the tripods, and the one that gives that removes a damage every turn, and then that way it just makes it difficult. Like I say with all these solo streams, like especially with this unofficial stuff, just modify the way that you're playing to whatever fits best for you. If you want it to be more difficult, then you should put stuff in that makes it harder for you. If you want it to be easier, put stuff in that makes it easier for you. You just want to have fun. That's the most important thing. Cards being a timer, I thought, was the tension. Well, it is, but see, the problem is, because the card playing is linked to a dice roll, there is a world where that just never happens. Like, it is a real possibility that dice never hits a 5 or a 6. That's why I did add the rule for where if I do the same thing twice in a row, it'll play a card. But, I mean, I'm at 22 damage. I only need 8 more damage in order to fight the aliens off. So, like, right now, I don't think this is a relevant end-of-game trigger. So there either needs to be a way to have more cards played quicker, or there needs to be more tension for how they're clearing my guys off the board. So I'll figure it out. Like I said, this is based off of the one that the BGG, Dr. Henry Armitage, he made, and it was just like very simple. Like I basically played it before the stream, did the quick modifier to the 1 dice, and that's it. So I haven't made anything. If it seems interesting enough, I'll develop it a little bit further, and then I'll just come up with basically some different scenarios or something to try and make it a little bit more difficult for people. And then I'll put it up on BGG if this is something people I think would be interested in playing more. Like here's the actual fleshed out solo mode for you. So we always do our best to oblige, try and make everyone happy. All right, so we're back to my turn. You guys are probably tired of hearing me yap, anyways. All right, so Navy ship. So how much damage do I need? I need 9 damage. I could do. Yeah, see, and this is what I'm talking about. So I can burn this Royal Navy card for 3. I can burn this Army card for 3. I can burn this Army card for 3. So that's the 9 damage I need. I burn all of those. There's 30 damage, and I beat the aliens again. Like I said, that was still a relatively simple and easy game, even with playing the extra cards. So for me personally, like sometimes people just want to play a game and like it's good to feel powerful and feel like it's kind of the same thing that triggers in your brain when you play something like Splendor. Like it's not difficult, it still has strategy, but it still feels good to play and win. And like if that's like the goal, if you just want to play a solo game and you just want to kind of like cruise through it, you just want to feel good and be like, yeah, I beat the game, then totally do it. It's whatever's best for you. For me personally, I want more of a challenge. Like I like games where it's like solo or cooperative games where the win percentage is like 40% or less. So I will lose most of the time, but the times that I win, I'll feel like I really earned it. And like that's what I love. That's kind of the same reason behind games like Dark Souls and those other games is like it's such a high difficulty level that whenever you do finally get through it and as you progress, it feels really good to do it because you feel like you're actually like, I'm getting better at doing this. And so that's what I want out of this. Like I said, I think I'm going to develop this a little bit further, make some more files, because I uploaded my variant that I created with the cards and everything for Champions of Midgard to BGG, as well as a handful of stars. So I'll do the same thing for this. I'll upload the files there. But if you want to play this currently, you can go to the one that's created by Dr. Henry Armitage, and you can play that version. Like I said, the only difference is that it uses 2 dice instead of 1, so there's a little bit more variability with what happens. This is just streamlined for me. So that's it. So that's that. Normally I would do a little bit of a longer stream, but I do have a lot of things I need to get done outside of this, so I'm glad that I played this. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I'm going to do my sign-off here and give you all the information, quick rundown of everything once again. Links here at the top. Like I said, BGG user Dr. Henry Armitage is the one that made this variant. You can go to BGG, find that variant if you want to play it yourself. If you don't want a copy of the game or any of the goodies, you can go to greyfoxgames.com. You can buy everything from there. We'll ship it straight to you. The playmat is only offered through us. We have the Kickstarter edition of the game. It's only offered through us. Everything is on the website, along with all the cool stuff for our other games. So you can do that. The other link up there, teespring.com/store/greyfoxgames. That's our brand new merch store. So we're starting to create merchandise for our games. We already have some stuff up for Champions of Midgard, as well as some things for Bushido. I'm in the process of creating more items for the store, so we will be uploading more stuff constantly. We're going to try and have stuff for all of our games on there. And so you can check that out. It's a way to support us and get cool merch that you can wear to cons and look cool. So there's that. We are in the last leg of our campaign for Force Science. It's our real-time dexterity cooperative game. It's on Kickstarter right now. You can go check that out. The coolest thing about that is that for every copy of the game sold during the campaign, we're going to donate $5 to the Direct Relief Charity, and that charity is on the front lines fighting the COVID-19 virus now. So you can get an awesome game about curing viruses that's super fun to play with your friends, and also may help a company in the world that's actually doing that for real. So it's really, really cool. And then the very last thing, if you're not part of the newsletter, go to the website and sign up for it there. We'll keep you up to date on everything that we're doing. You'll be the first one to know about anything production-wise with our new games coming out, any specials that we run. You get first looks at everything. We give away games. You get discount codes, everything. So you should go and do that. And yeah, that's all I have for you. So if you want to tune in tomorrow, I'll be playing, same time, 3 p.m. Central, we'll be playing another scenario of our game Mythos Tales. I did a stream a few weeks ago, and I did the intro scenario. I'm going to do the second scenario in this one. And that'll be tomorrow, 3 p.m. Central. So thank you so much for tuning in. Love the idea of this solo. I'll be looking for BGG updates. Good. Yes, Tom, keep an update on there. I'll also make a post on our social media when I upload it to BGG so everyone knows. Like every time I upload something to BGG, I post on social media so everybody knows that it's there, and I provide a link. So just keep an eye out for that. But thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Any questions, just send us a message, and then I'll see you tomorrow, 3 p.m.